Okay, just we will start with the lecture. So I think so. Till now we have just completed your basics of motion in one dimension, some calculus questions related to calculus, and also related to some vertical projectiles. So vertical projectiles, I think so. The two types I've already given. One was your from the ground with your nth displacement formula, that was Sn is equal to u plus a into n minus half. Then we had one vertical projectile, sorry, one free fall, and one as vertical projectile from the ground. Is type 3 was also done? Acha, type 3 is remaining. Okay. So the next type which we'll be dealing with is your vertical motion from the top of a tower or from certain roof you can say, or certain height you can say. So whenever we talk about such a situation, so for an example, if I go for certain conditions related to that. First of all, if it returns back to the top of the tower after throwing, obviously we will say the displacement is zero. Vertically it is being thrown from the top of a tower and it is coming back to the top of the tower. Then the vertical displacement will be zero. Second, if I talk about the acceleration, so with respect to the initial throw, the acceleration will be negative because it is moving against the gravity. So your A value will be minus G with respect to the initial throw. Always remember this word, what I am using it, with respect to the initial throw. Then when we talk about the final velocity, when it reaches the maximum height thrown from the top of a tower, you can say maximum final velocity will be zero when it reaches the top. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, why would be the displacement be zero?
If it returns to the top, again, you're releasing the ball from the top. So you're standing on the top of a tower, you're throwing the ball and catching back on the top of the tower. So the throwing point and the receiving point are same. So you can say the total displacement will be zero.
Oh, displacement. Okay, sir.
Yeah, displacement. Yeah. And when we talk about the displacement when it returns to the ground from the top of the building, it is minus h, where h is the height of the tower, height of the building, you can say height of the roof, anything. Now why it is so minus? Suppose if I just consider a building and a ball which will be thrown upwards. Now when it is moving up, obviously we know the final velocity will be zero when it reaches at that height. Now it is going to come down to the ground. That means when I had this much displacement, when the ball reached at this height, that time the displacement was zero because it was to the same level as per the initial position. But further when it moved down, it was moving in the downward direction. So as per the initial, with respect to the initial, if we talk about, the initial movement of the ball was upward. With respect to the initial, the displacement till this point was zero, and further the displacement which will be carried out, that was opposite to the direction of initial. So with respect to the initial throw, since the displacement which will be covered further, that will be opposite, so we say that the displacement is minus h as negative. So anything we always compare with the initial reference, initial frame of reference. Initial frame of reference was nothing but throwing it upwards. Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, you have told in the previous chapter that displacement is the shortest distance between one point to another.
Yes, correct.
So sir, from the point where the ball had been thrown to the
Mhm.
max height, there must be some displacement, right?
This one.
Vertical. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
then.
Sir, so how can displacement be 0?
When it comes back over
When
here,
it comes, total displacement, sir.
a total displacement, like I'm talking about when it reaches the same height, the same level. When it reaches the same level, the value will be 0. And then again, it is moving downwards. So since the displacement which will be covered later on, it is in the opposite direction to that of the initial throw. So that will be negative. So are the assumptions clear? So which we are going to just consider over here. Yeah, Rana, in that way also you can define. Now the same concept I just need to apply. Suppose if I just take an example that a stone thrown upward with a speed u from the top of a tower reaches the ground with a velocity 3u. So it is said that initially it is thrown with a velocity u, and when it reaches the ground it is reaching with a velocity 3u. Find the height of the tower. So if I just compare the initial conditions and the final conditions. So the initial velocity was u, means for me the positive direction was upwards because you have taken as positive. So anything taken upwards, I will be taking it as positive. Now when I talk about the final velocity, when it touches the ground, that time the movement or the direction of the motion is downwards. Means my final velocity is negative. The direction is opposite to the initial throw. So we take the final velocity as minus 3u. Because the motion when it touched the ground, it was downward with respect to the initial throw, which was upward. Opposite direction means minus. When you talk about the acceleration, that will be minus g because that is with respect to your initial throw. Okay, initially when you throw upwards, that time the acceleration was nothing but minus g with respect to the initial thing. And when you talk about the displacement s, that was minus h, because the displacement or the value of h that it will cover, that will be covered in the opposite direction as with respect to your initial throw. So we have a relation which is relating your u, v, a and s, which is your third motion equation. If I just substitute in this motion equation, you can just directly get the value as your 9u square equal to u square plus 20h, which will give you the value of h as 2 by 5 u square. Means in terms of u will get. Is it clear? So that is how you can relate or you can assume the term. So for us, the important is only the condition. The final answer is not important right now. For me, important is these cases. So always remember when it is vertically, so you can just say that the final velocity will be negative, displacement will be negative, and acceleration is also negative. Yeah, Anil, tell me.
Sir, in this question, sir, when we threw the ball or the stone upwards, sir, the acceleration was minus 10, but when it was returning, it was positive, sir. So
No,
the
but you're
whole,
not taking like moving up as one case and moving down as another case. So you are taking the whole process as a single movement.
okay, sir.
Okay, if you solve this question like once I go for the vertical movement, then I again start the second case from vertical to the bottom, right? So that time you can say one is a negative, other is a positive.
Okay, sir.
When it comes down, that time the displacement will also be positive for you.
So means when we take the whole as a means one expression, we have to take as per the initial
Yeah,
values.
it is always with respect to the initial. See, displacement also I compared with the initial throw. Acceleration will also be compared with the initial throw, and final velocity is also compared with the initial throw. So everything will be with respect to the initial throw.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, then why the answer will be minus 3u velocity, final velocity?
Because the direction of the velocity when it reaches the ground, the motion was downwards now when it hits the ground. And the initial velocity u was upwards, final velocity v is downwards. So it is opposite. So opposite means in vector form you need to take it as minus.
Okay, sir, but we
Oh,
can use the formula as h is equal to ut square plus 1 upon 2 at square.
but
Can
where
we
is
use
time
that
given?
also?
Time is not known to us, na?
Oh, time. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Understood. Since time was not there, so first and second equation we cannot use. Yeah. Yes, Satakshi.
Sir, I came up across a question regarding the type 3 that a building of height h, from its top a boy throws a ball
Hmm.
and a boy in another building which is taller than the first one
Hmm.
catches it on a height and then throws it again to the ground. So
Okay.
this right?
Where?
There would be two cases, right?
Yeah, one throw will be different, and the other case which is thrown downward, that will be a different case.
Okay, sir. Thank
Yeah. Minoti, we are just referring your acceleration negative with respect to your initial case. So with respect to the throw, when you throw the ball upwards, during that time, the acceleration A is negative because it is against the gravity. That's it. You're not referring to what is going to happen later on. It is just with reference to the initial condition, always. Yes, Surya,
Sir,
tell me.
I just took I took t equals 0, or I just took my initial condition as the point when it comes back to the height of the building from up to
Okay,
down again,
okay.
back to the height
Then,
of the building. So basically almost same conditions except for all the signs are switched.
yeah. And like
That's fine, right?
finally to you will get going to get the same condition.
Yes,
This is
yes.
just a shortcut way to
Yes,
get the
sir. I
final
just
answer.
didn't want to mess up any negative signs, so I just took it that.
Now you can cross check in that pattern also. It is going to be the final answer as the same. Yeah, so you can have any of the approach.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. Yeah, as per Surya said, even if you all want that anything, you need to divide this into two cases, you can solve. So he just solved that one motion was till this same level and the other case from this point to the ground. So the two cases he just simplified and got the value for the height h. So even that way we can simplify. Okay, so I think so the method or the type is bit clear. I have just one more small numerical based on it, and then we can just move to the next section of the chapter. Okay, I'm just shifting the slide. If anyone want to just take a pic or screenshot, just do it quickly. Okay, says there's a small numerical based on that. Just tell me what will be the answer. The same type of question. (29.4 meter). Okay, Rana. So one answer we got from Rana is 29.4. Okay, Anirudh is getting 29.8. Aryan is getting 29.4. Anirudh, just cross check the. Okay, Minoti is also getting 29.8. Just cross check the answer if it is 29.4 or 29.8. I'm getting three answers as 29.8 and two answers as 29.4. Okay, Sharanya is also getting 29.8. Okay, Satvik, Gargi, Viraj, all are getting 29.8. Archit is getting again 29.4. So I'm getting very mixed answers. Archit? Archit, can you hear me? Divya?
Yes, sir.
How come 29.4 you got answer?
Sir, so U is 4.9
Okay.
and T is 2. So I
Okay.
use the formula S equal to UT plus half AT square.
Correct.
So then I get S is equal to 9.8 because 2 into 4.9 plus half into 9.8 into 4.
Okay. So means I think so if we take 9.8 the answer might be different and for 10 the answer might be different. So you took as 9.8.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. And with using 9.8 means the same formula you applied. UT plus half AT square.
yeah.
Okay. I'm not getting 29.8. Yeah. How come I got this answer then? Height of the bridge. What was the difference in your calculation and this
I
calculation, Divya?
took acceleration and H as positives.
Hmm. Since it is an upward motion, na, so your acceleration will be negative. Even
Yeah,
if you don't assume the direction of h, that would be fine because the final answer will be negative, which will
yeah.
indicate that the displacement is opposite to the initial direction. So even if you don't take h as negative, it's fine, but acceleration has to be negative because it is thrown upwards.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. So because of that, it was just added and you got the answer as 29. Yeah.
yeah.
So just encircle that thing so that you will remember in future questions. Yeah, Divya.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Yeah, so rest of you who got 29.4 or 29.8, you all did the same mistake by taking your acceleration as positive. If you take, I think so 10, it will be 10.2. Yeah, that's okay. That's not a problem. Even if it's not specified in the question for gravity, you can take 9.8 or 10. So if you're taking 10, I think so the answer is coming as 10.2 as per Akansha and Bhupen. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sorry, sir, I was having that doubt only. 10.2.
Acha, acha, okay, okay. So not an issue. You can just assume any values and just compare with your four options. Near to that, you can just select your answers. Not a problem. But don't make that mistake, which most of you did in calculation. Rana, you were very much hurry in solving the question. Okay, so I think so the questions are pretty clear. How to simplify in various types. So can I just move? Okay. Yeah, Mayuresh, tell me.
Actually,
Yeah.
I did one lengthy process.
Hmm.
I first applied first formula, V is equals to U plus 80,
Okay.
in which I got the value of V is equals to 2.9.
2.9 when it reaches the ground.
Yeah,
And you took A value as minus G in that?
yes, yes.
Okay, fine. Then later on,
Then I applied the second formula, which is V square is equals to U square plus 2AS,
okay.
in which V value is 2.9, U value is 4.9,
Hmm.
2, and A is minus 10.
Okay.
So when I substitute it, I got value of S as 7.8, not
7.8.
9.8. Yeah,
Wait a minute. You applied initially V equals to U plus 80, correct?
yeah.
So it is 4.9 minus 9.8 into time is how much? 2. So, no, the answer should be minus 14.7, the final velocity V.
So U plus 80 now. So
Uh,
4.9 minus 20. Sorry, minus. Okay, okay, I got it.
Understood.
Yeah, sir.
You know, so it should be 14 point something or 15 something, like whatever, if you take 10 or you take 9.8 as per that. But
Yeah,
you will
sir.
get the same answer. You should get 9.8 only. So you just
Yeah,
try
sir.
to correct that. You will get it. Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yeah, Dhruv, you can use. Okay, Ryan, I'm just unmuting you. Yeah, tell me, Ryan.
Sir, I didn't get how you did this question. Like you took S as the displacement, but the stone was thrown vertically upward from the bridge. So after a distance, the stone must have come down and then it might have gone into the water, right? So we want
Yeah,
that
so I took
distance, right?
minus h. Yeah, so that only I took as minus h. Because the displacement is nothing but the height covered. See now, it is moving up, it is
Okay.
coming to the same height, and then it is moving down. So what is the total displacement covered?
So it will move as much as it
This
moves,
much.
it will move that much only down.
So this much only is the displacement. Because till this rate is zero, na displacement is
Yeah,
nothing but related to the
it's
initial and
zero.
final.
Yeah.
है ना? So displacement nothing but the height of the bridge.
Okay, I thought that there might be a difference in how much it moves up and how much it moves down.
No, see, practically even if I just try to check out, it is going to remain the same because it is plus h1 minus h1 then minus h. So plus h1 minus h1 that will become 0.
Okay.
I talk about the displacement and then it will be only your minus h.
Okay.
Clear?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. No, Dhruv, we cannot use that method. So using that method, you will get the maximum height it reaches, means this value you will get. Dhruv. Yeah, Navve, that's correct. Yeah, Dhruv, you understood what I explained?
Sir, but
Your doubt?
if we take v is equal to u,
Hmm.
v is equal to 0,
But that will be the maximum height over here. This
sir, but
point.
when it will reach water, then also the v will be 0, right? If it will just
No,
stop.
no, 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 no. When it comes on the ground, it has a kinetic energy, na?
Acha, okay, so it will jump back.
We won't be 0. But when you say that it is splashing on that the splash on the water is creating that resistance force which makes it to stop.
Yes,
So
sir.
there is some resisting force given by the water. So that velocity is reduced to the water by that retardation force. Yeah?
Yeah.
So that
Yes.
is a different thing. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so anyone else is having any other doubt? So I hope till this motion in one direction, one dimension is totally clear. Not a single doubt in it. All the assumptions are clear for vertical projectile. I have not given any question related to your horizontal movements because they are the direct substitutions. Just a different things which were to be learned was your vertical motions and the shortcut way to simplify those. Okay, so I'll just move freshly to a new segment of the chapter. Motion in one plane. So now the core part of the chapter, nothing but called as your oblique projectiles. So the previous one you did as vertical projectile, that was either upward or any horizontal movement that will be in along x directions. Now we are going to do an oblique projectile in which x and y both will be included. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, we will be having graph also.
No graphs. Graph study like basic whatever you all had in 9th standard also, no, in your school syllabus.
Yeah.
That studying and getting the value of area or the slope of the graph.
Yeah.
Only those things are there, basics.
Oh, basic.
Nothing else is there from the graph.
So like velocity time graph, acceleration time graph, that only.
Velocity time graph will be there. Then from that you need to calculate the value of displacement from so and so time, or the value of slope in case of acceleration and all. Only that those things will be asked.
Okay.
Nothing else. Yeah. Okay. So I'm just starting with this segment. So now why it is called as one plane or why we call it as two dimension. Whenever I say one plane means it is with respect to two axes. One plane it is not means like I'm taking a horizontal paper or anything. Whenever I say one plane means there are two axes which will be defined. The movement will be with respect to x and y both simultaneously, as if you draw a line. When you draw a line, you will write the line equation as ax plus by plus c equal to 0. That means that equation is in terms of x and y. It depends on x and y. It is with respect to x-axis and y-axis. So that type of movement is called as your two-dimensional motions, nothing but your planar motions. So same way when we deal with our oblique projectiles. So suppose if I take a horizontal surface, on that if I take a reference axis as x-axis and perpendicular to that as your y-axis. So one horizontal surface, simple example as a ground you can consider. So you just represented one x direction along which the object is going to travel, and one y direction, nothing but the height which the object is going to carry out. So now suppose if I have an object. Yeah, Shravan?
Sir, isn't this motion in 3 dimensions, like one plane contains both the x and y, and you
No, it is only 2 dimensions, because when you're throwing, it is going to go horizontal and vertical. That's it. It is not going to go sideways. So you are not referring its motion along the sideways. It is either when you throw, it will go forward and upward. That's it. Only 2 directions are there.
Okay, sir.
If suppose I include the wind movement, the wind is flowing from left to right. So that time you can say it will be a projectile which will be spin in a different direction. Understood? So that time you can see it is a 3 dimension. So suppose now if I take an object, there is no air resistance, there is no wind flow. So suppose if it is directed at certain angle, it is thrown with a velocity u forming an angle theta with the horizontal ground. Yeah, Bhupen?
Sir, what is the parallelogram surface known as?
Parallelogram surface?
Yeah. The
Means?
blue color.
I didn't get you. That's a planar surface.
Oh, planar
So you're
surface.
talking about this which I made. Achha, no,
yes,
I
yes.
just made a plane, a horizontal surface. It can be
Okay,
circular or anything. It's just a piece of land, you can say.
Oh, land. Okay.
Piece of land, yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to throw this, making a certain angle theta with respect to the horizontal surface. So whenever we know it is going to be thrown, obviously it will form certain path, and that path you can observe, it will be in such a way. How to observe? Suppose if I just consider that the entire system is a smoke room. There is a room is full of smoke, and if I throw an object, you can see this clear path. In that smoke, there will be a clear path formed in this pattern. Now, why this pattern is being formed, that we are going to just study. So suppose whenever we throw anything in an inclined position, or else whenever we have inclined vector, here u is a vector velocity, and if it is referred with respect to x-axis and y-axis, means I can resolve it. If I do resolution of vectors, one component will be along x-axis, which will be called as u cos theta, because that is adjacent to your theta. Other component will be vertical along y-axis, which will be u sin theta. That means whenever it was thrown at a velocity u, it was traveling along horizontal and it was traveling along vertical simultaneously, so that it forms such a curve. But when it travels horizontally, since there is no air resistance, there is no wind flow, and also there is no acceleration due to gravity, which is in a horizontal direction. Gravity is always perpendicular to the surface. It is always vertical. Means horizontally, if there is no air resistance, if there is no wind movement, if there is no other forces acting, you can say your u cos theta value is not going to change. Yeah, Bhupen?
Sir, is it a cross product?
It's not a cross product. Cross product is nothing but two in a plane and third perpendicular to that.
Sir,
Hmm.
but sir, but is it related to the vector, sir? No, no.
No, it is not related to a vector. No vector
Okay.
products. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, but if what you are saying is true, then
Hmm.
the object must only lose its momentum in the y-axis, sir. It should continue
Yeah,
to
it is
travel on
losing.
forever.
Yeah, but
Sir,
horizontally also it is traveling. No, so every time it will form the resultant values,
sir, but then the graph would be like a curve and then an
which is moving
infinite
upwards.
line.
No, how come it will be? Because when it reaches the maximum height, the velocity becomes zero due to acceleration.
Sir, so acceleration is acting on both the front force and upward force, right?
No, not on the front force. Front is there is no gravity acting. Is there any gravity which is horizontal?
No, sir. So, but if
No.
that's the case, then if we throw an object,
Hmm.
the height can rise and shrink, but the
Okay, chalo, I will just simplify your doubt. I understood what you exactly want to define. So, see, whenever it reaches a certain height, okay, now the upward velocity is going to decrease
yes,
because
sir.
it is moving against the gravity, right? So, can I say if I just try to draw all the vertical components, can I say at this point the vertical component will be a bit less,
Yes, sir.
okay, of the velocity because the value has decreased?
Hmm.
At this point, it will be still further less.
Yes, sir.
At this point, it will be much more less. Are you
And
getting
this
my
point,
point?
yes, sir.
Maximum point, it will be zero.
Zero.
Okay. Now, what about the horizontal? The horizontal length is going to remain the same every time. Is it the length going to change of the vector? Because there is no change in velocity. There is no acceleration acting horizontally. Means the horizontal magnitude of the velocity is not going to change.
Change, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
means horizontal always the length will be same.
Yes, sir.
And how you get the resultant when two vectors act at a point by drawing a parallelogram?
Yes, sir.
Just see over here. Just see at every point, will it be inclined all the time? Because
Yes, sir.
whatever
At one
the,
point, it will go down.
yeah, because at this point there will be only horizontal. There will be no vertical. So you can just imagine that there is a rectangle whose length is not changing, whose breadth is changing. And if its breadth is changing, can I say the diagonal which connects the resultant or which represents the resultant, it is getting bent downwards.
It is getting reduced, sir. Yes.
And it is getting bent. So it will form a curve and at the highest point, it will become exactly horizontal.
Yes,
Now,
sir.
when it reaches the next point, that time the velocity has to increase because now the movement is downward accelerated once
Yes.
it reaches the highest point. So now here the velocity bit will increase. Here more it will increase. Here it will be much more. But is the horizontal changing?
No, sir.
No, means now the rectangles you are forming, those will have same length, but the breadth is going to increase.
Please.
Means your diagonal is going to get more inclined. So now you can see the diagonal positions. It will slowly and steadily increase its pace. Now understood how we get this particular curve? They are all the tangents. They are nothing but the resultants for every point.
So at the point in which you have completed the curve, the ball would stop.
Here, this point,
But,
at this point you're talking about at the end.
yes, sir.
Here it will be similar to the initial case. Means you can say when it is exactly half. Since here and here they are symmetric. Only the
Yes.
direction of vertical velocity is exactly opposite. So at this point, again it is going to hit at the same initial velocity u at the same angle theta.
So that's why the both forces cancel each other out and the ball remains stationary thereafter.
Yeah. So it will be same. See over here. It will be the same. Whatever it has been released with same velocity, the person is going to catch it at the same angle.
Yes, sir. So there is no V
There is no.
like
Yeah,
final
there is
velocity,
v. There is final velocity, no?
but that is
Final velocity.
equal to initial
If
velocity.
if you talk about for the entire system,
Yes,
For
sir.
the entire system, you can say both are trying to get nullify each other in vector summation method. But if you talk about two persons, one standing at this point and other person who is standing over here to catch the ball, he will also feel the velocity because he is going to throw, and
Yes,
he is
sir.
also going to feel the velocity because he is going to
Because
catch it. But the
yes,
velocity with which it is being thrown and with which it is being received will be same.
yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, because there are no other forces acting on the system except the force of gravity. So your doubt is clear. Why won't be a curve moving towards infinity? Is that much point clear? Okay. Okay, I'll just clear all the drawings over here. Yeah. So now we have the components. So as per we just discussed that the entire motion will get divided into two types of motions. So one is your horizontal motion, and second case is to get the vertical motion. Yeah, Dhruv, I didn't get your question. What you're asking?
Yes, sir. Sir,
Yeah.
the gravity is exerted from the center of the earth, right?
Yeah.
So, sir, how can gravity be perpendicular at each point?
It's a big sphere. Okay. If you take a big sphere and a small part of it, obviously that part is horizontal. Like suppose the ground or the floor on which you are standing, okay, or
Yes.
the road. The roads are also flat enough. Why it is looking as flat? Because it is a small part of very big sphere.
Okay, okay, okay. That way.
Yeah,
Yes,
understood,
sir.
no? So hence it
Yes,
is
sir.
like taken as perpendicular.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Okay, so now when we talk about your horizontal motion, so that time we decided that since there was no gravity acting, so at every point it will be your uniform motion. So you can say at every point the horizontal velocity is u cos theta. The value is same. But when you talk about vertical motion, that will be your non-uniform motion, because the initial velocity was u sine theta. At maximum height, that will become zero as when it was moving upwards due to negative acceleration. And when it comes back to the ground, the acceleration increases, and finally again it becomes u sine theta in the opposite direction. So means we can say vertical motion is non-uniform during the path. During upwards, it was decreasing the velocity. During downward motion, the velocity was increasing. Now I just want to get the equation of this curve, the equation of this path. Because if I draw a straight line, if the graph is a straight line, I know the equation of a straight line. If it is a circle, I know the equation of a circle as x square plus y square equal to r square. If it is an elliptical shape, the elliptical curve also has an equation like x square by a square plus y square by b square equal to 1. So in maths, whenever we learn about some curves, some definite curves have some definite equations. Similarly, here also this curve, I am going to form some equation. Equation nothing but I need a relation between the x and y at every moment. So I will just assume a small point A of the graph, a generalized point, and suppose that point it reaches in time t. In general, it might be taking some time to reach a point A. But when it reached that point A, it covered some vertical height and it covered some horizontal distance simultaneously. Both the vertical height and horizontal distance were covered in the same time t, because two motions are happening simultaneously. So both the displacements will be same in time t. So suppose if I talk about the horizontal motion, so I will just assume the horizontal displacement as x. So now if I just go displacement as x, time taken as t, because it has taken time t to reach that point, and doing that horizontal displacement was x. And the velocity, if I talk about at a for horizontal motion, that will be u cos theta, because that is not changing. So if I just relate, since it is a uniform motion, I can directly apply the formula displacement equals to speed into time. From this, I can get the value of t as x by u cos theta. Why I'm separating t over here, or why I'm finding t over here? Because t was assumed by me. X and y are the relations which I am going to get, an equation of the graph. But t was separately extra assumed by me to create that relation. So hence I just tried to separate out t from the first equation. Now if I go for the vertical motion, vertically, so displacement, I just assume that suppose it has covered a displacement y, upwards. Upwards acceleration was minus g because it was moving to that point A which was against the gravity. If I talk about the initial velocity u dash, I just taken u dash because I have already used u in the question, in the diagram. So to just avoid the confusion, I am using u dash over here. So the initial velocity is nothing but u sine theta vertically, and the time we know that was t to reach your point A. So I will use the second equation, that is s is equal to ut plus half at square. In that, if I substitute the values as y equals to u sine theta, t value I can use from the first case because there I already calculated this one, minus half gt square. Now why minus I am putting? Because a was minus g and minus plus will become minus. So I am directly putting a minus over there. And t value I again substituted in the place of t as x by u cos theta to get x by u cos theta the whole square. So if I simplify this, the first term u and u will get cancelled and you will get y is equal to x tan theta because sin theta by cos theta is tan theta, trigonometry. And the second will become minus half g x square by u square cos square. So I have got some relation. So now this relation, if I just compare, I somehow get the equation that it is of the form x square is equal to four by. In maths, this equation is nothing but equation of a parabola. A parabola which is being directed towards positive y-axis, nothing but diagrammatically, if I draw this parabola in maths, this parabola will look like this structure, this way. The parabola is facing towards positive y because over here it is plus. So whenever you have one quadratic and one variable as linear, it is the equation of a parabola. So there is a also over here. So don't say the spelling is wrong or anything. Is it clear? So this is a representation, and for this case you can see your x square is minus. So if I just reduce this part into a quadratic also, I need to shift this minus on the other side to make x square coefficient as plus. Because for a quadratic, your x square coefficient is always positive. So if I shift this minus over here, the equation now will be of the form as x square is equal to minus 4by. Now whatever I am writing over here 4b, it is nothing but the actual generalized equation of a parabola in maths. So don't get confused, sir, why you are using 4b and what is b. Your 4by is nothing but the actual equation of a parabola. Now for this it is since minus y, so the diagram for this case to represent the parabola, you can see it will look like something in this pattern. It will be facing downwards this way. And see our case also, the curve is facing downwards. So hence we say it is representing a parabolic path. And since it is not only x square along with an x term, means it is a quadratic, so that might be something x minus a the whole square something. Since it is not passing through the origin 0, 0, means it will be somewhere at the other point, this way, somewhere at the other point. So this is how actually we compare your math parabola along with your physics projectile equation. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, how the u value came as u sine theta?
Because
Value of u.
for the vertical case, in the vertical motion, the initial velocity was u sine theta. See over here, the red one.
Oh, for vertical motion or what?
Vertical.
Sir,
so I separately specified it. Yeah, tell me.
Sir, then what will be the value of diagonal motion of u?
Diagonal motion, that will be a quadratic, na?
Yeah,
root
sir,
of
u.
Root of u sine theta plus u cos theta, the whole square. Because there are two components you will get na, at each every point.
Oh.
At every point you will get a component. So here also, if you calculate the final velocity at point A, so using that vertical component and horizontal component, if you do root of square root,
Okay.
so you will get the resultant velocity at A.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, but you have not written the formula of u then, sir.
Where? No, because we are not finding final velocity, na? I just wanted the relation between x and y. That's it.
Oh.
I just need the equation of the path, which should be in terms of x and y. So there is no need of getting the value of final velocity. Understood?
Okay. Understood.
Yeah. Any other doubt?
No.
Yeah, Yatharth, tell me.
Sir, what is the value of B?
Actually, B is nothing but the focus of that parabola. Like suppose in this case, if you talk about, na, there is a point called as focus of the parabola. So this point is actually your 0, B. This way. Okay, so parabola has something called as focus. Similarly, on the other side, it will be what? 0, minus B.
Yes, sir.
And when we take on the x-axis, suppose the other parabola equations are nothing but represented in this form. As you can say, y square is equal to 4ax. So now y square equal to 4ax will face on this which side?
Sir, the positive.
Yeah, positive side. Positive of what? Positive of x-axis means it will be somewhere here, na? Like this.
Yes, sir.
And the focus will be at this point, right? And that focus will be what? A, 0. And the other side, that will be minus A, 0.
Yes.
Understood? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Karthik, on all the four axes, we can have the parabola. But it depends upon what you represent. If you write y square equal to something, so that will be towards positive x or towards negative x, depending upon what sign is over here. And if we write x square equal to something, then it will be either towards positive y or negative y, depending upon the sign. Yes, it's going till infinity, the curve. Yeah, all those things we don't have to study, Archit. Focus of the parabola and all. That all things you will study when you will learn conic section in maths in 11th standard. I don't know whether it is there in 10th standard for you all. Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, so for this equation, y equals to x tan theta minus half g x square upon u square cos square theta. Equation is x square equals to minus 4by.
Yeah, because your x square is minus now over here. And quadratic in the, what is the rule of a quadratic? That the coefficient of x square cannot be negative.
Yes, sir.
Whenever you define a quadratic equation. So to make this as positive, I need to shift all the terms on the other side. So y will become minus. Negative. So it is your quadratic in x and linear in y. So which is the parabola equation out of the four which represents, that is your x square equal to minus 4by. That tells us that it is downward facing.
Sir, here, what does B represent, sir? Here, in this equation.
In this case, yes. I need to get all the numerical values. Like I need to take the LCM of this. So you can say 2u square cos square theta will shift on the other side. And then I need to do a perfect squaring on both sides, because your x is not a perfect quadratic on this side. And it should be whole square. It will finally reach to a certain value. In that case, you can say what will be y? B. In that
so it's
case.
A constant.
Yeah, it's a constant. B is just a number, numerical value. Variables are only x and y in the entire equation.
So do we have to remember only this equation or the way to derive and to find the
No,
value?
nothing. We need to remember this equation because like in the options, sometimes they give you these equations directly and they will give a diagram to you to represent. So one of the projectile will be given and they
Yes,
will just tell you to select out of the 4 equations. So
yes.
at least looking at the parabolic curve, you should know where it will be related.
Yeah, so they will give us a parabolic curve and tell us to find its return.
That way might be the condition that you just need to compare the diagram and the options. So it
Yes,
should be very much logical that how to relate them. If it is downward, because here I am saying that the gravity is downward. They will just tell you that you went to a planet where the gravity is moving away. The resultant gravity of that planet is moving away. Then what you will do in that case? Because they can ask any question, which is illogical. And they can give you any diagram, but there should be always a comparison with the options. Yeah, Karthik, all type of curves can be there. What all types of curves? Only parabolic curves we have. Elliptical and all we are not studying in physics. Elliptical we will learn in chapter called gravitation, but not the equation of that elliptical curve, only the shape. The equation we are learning only in this chapter. Ryan, you want to ask something?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Like if we assume in this situation, we can assume something you did not specify what the mass of the object was.
Nothing.
So if the, like I am asking in real life situation, if the mass of the object increases, will the path change?
Yeah, it will change now because there is air resistance also. No? It will affect.
Okay, so this is for a situation where air resistance and okay.
So initially I defined there is nothing, no other forces except the
No.
gravity acting on it. Yeah.
So, but for mass of an object, like for heavier masses, gravity won't
Nothing
affect.
will happen. Nothing will happen.
Okay.
Gravity doesn't depend upon your mass.
But air
Because
resistance
all the
will.
motion, yeah, air resistance, if it adds, obviously then the mass factor will be included under that.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, Satakshi, x and y are the generalized point. So now x and y you can substitute anything because it is representing for the entire equation. So suppose if you say that it has moved 30 meter ahead. So by substituting the value of x as 30, you will get the value of y at what height it has reached. It is nothing but the coordinates which will satisfy this graph. So x and y is just a generalized variables for the entire graph. Yeah, Surya. It depends upon the density and all. Surya. Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, so basically all these equations will be applicable, which we are learning now will be applicable only in a vacuum.
Yeah, only in the vacuum case. Only in the vacuum case.
So, sir, why do we need to learn these things when this is not at all applicable?
Because see, anything when you relate, you always relate to the ideal cases. So initially, when the scientists used to define anything, so they used to always define with respect to the ideal cases so that that will become a reference for you, the default case for you. Now the additional thing, suppose if I include air resistance in it. Now using these default cases, nothing but the method, what we applied to solve that. The same methodology you can apply with the air resistance also. Understood? Yeah, wind flow is included, if other resisting force is included. So same methodology you need to apply if an additional force is added to it. Okay, but the equation will change. So they are all, tell me.
Sir, so will we ever include air resistance in our calculations?
Yeah, there are calculations. When you learn the chapter work, power, energy. So there will be the case where you will learn about the friction. Once you learn friction, now all the kinematics, all the Newton's law will be included, combined, and the new question will be generated in which friction will be included along with that. Because till now, whatever questions you're doing in 1 dimension and 2 dimension, we are considering no friction, no air resistance. But when you learn the chapter friction, that time this will come over there.
Thank you, sir.
Understood? Yeah. Yeah, Shatakshi, I didn't get you what you are asking.
Sir,
Sakshi?
sir,
Yeah.
I'm asking that here you have given two axes.
Coordinates.
Then two
X
axes.
and Y are the coordinates.
I
Yeah.
am asking like what physical quantities are they representing? Like we have
Displacement, na? X and Y is the displacement. When you're throwing something, obviously it is covering some displacements.
so X is the horizontal displacement and Y is the height being covered.
Vertical displacement. Hence, see now where I substituted your X and Y in the equations. In the two equations, displacement as X, here also displacement as Y. So X and Y are nothing but your displacements.
Okay, so the only difference is of the direction.
Yeah. One is for horizontal, one case is for vertical. So when you draw a line, inclined line, and when you write the equation as 3x plus 4y is equal to 2, what is X and Y in that?
Displacement.
Displacements. And any point on that graph will satisfy that equation.
Yes.
And if you know X, you can calculate the corresponding Y. Here also the same thing. So when you throw at certain velocity and certain angle, suppose I say I'm throwing a ball at 5 meters per second at an angle of 30 degree.
Yes, sir.
So now I can tell you that when it covers 12 meter on the ground, at what height it is present.
Okay.
You don't have to measure the height. Also at the same time, I can tell you when it reaches the ground, what is the total horizontal distance it has covered.
Oh, okay.
So that one equation is nothing but your generalized equation in which simply you need to put your X and Y.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
With that, compare horizontal and vertical moments. Yeah, so are the equation clear? So I'll just clear everything. So actually, this is nothing but called as your equation of trajectory. Trajectory, nothing but the path which is being covered. So that is called as a trajectory equation or else a projectile equation. Yeah, Ryan, tell me.
Sir, so my doubt is like quite not related, but still I would
Yeah, tell me.
ask. When would we learn like two things? First, the 3D projectile motion. When will we learn that?
3D projectile motions we don't usually learn.
Okay.
Right now in dynamics, whatever we are going to learn till 12th standard, we learn only your 2D projectiles.
Okay. And when
Yeah.
will we learn like the real life situations, like where air resistance and everything's acting in that?
When you do the chapter like friction, like in this chapter also it will be included. But when you deal certain high level questions, like you can say JE related questions or NEET questions, like certain examples you need to pick up from HC Verma or
Okay.
else some IITN books. Okay, reference books. So there you will get some questions based on that, or even we can create those. Even like
Okay.
in this situation, we can make like
So-
currently, right now. Even if I say that there is some wind movement which is in the direction of your throw, okay, and that wind is accelerating. So obviously that acceleration A will be accelerating your ball also horizontally.
Yes.
Now your horizontal motion and vertical motion, in that horizontal will also be a non-uniform motion.
Yes.
And then you won't be using displacement equal to speed into time. There also what you have to use your motion equations. So there how you will define the displacement S is equal to ut plus half at square, in
Yeah.
which u value will be u cos theta
Yes.
and t value will be the same, because for both the equations the reaching point,
It's
the
same.
time is same.
Yeah.
So that is the only difference which will occur. So if there is air resistance or wind, anything, means if there is a horizontal force acting or even a inclined force acting, So even if there is an inclined force, you need to split them into two components.
And then get the vertical, the
Resultant.
component. Okay.
Get the resultant
Resultant.
acceleration, get the resultant vertical acceleration, and then applying both the type of motions as non-uniform, you get your answer.
Okay, so we would have such questions in 10th grade itself.
In 10th module, it is not included, but you can find them in your 11th standard NCRT. Not NCRT, also in HC Verma.
Okay.
In HC Verma, you will get, or else in directly, if I say in Resnick,
Okay.
that books you will get. Or else you can just pick up some JEE advanced modules of PACE. There also you can find out in the same chapter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome. No, in air resistance, the value will be directly given, Bhupen. The coefficient of friction only defined when they are your contact forces. So air resistance, air friction, nothing but they will just specify the force value directly so that acceleration can be calculated horizontally. Yeah, Bhupen, is it clear? Yeah, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, here you have told that the wind speed can be accelerating also if we include. So
If
what
you include the other resistance forces.
So what will happen if wind speed equals to g?
If wind speed equal to?
The acceleration due to gravity.
It will be more flattened graph.
Sir, but will the body ever stop moving then?
No, it won't come back on the ground. There's a very hard, because it depends upon the initial angle of projection also, no? Because that angle is going to decide your horizontal and vertical. But suppose if the angle is 45.
Yes, sir.
It won't come. It will directly move in a straight line.
Sir, but what if the angle is 30?
If angle is 30, it will surely come back to the ground. But it will cover a large distance. Like you cannot define where it is going to come, but it will come back on the ground.
Sir, but only why in 45 degrees will it come back?
Because during that time, the horizontal and vertical components will be same as u by root 2.
So there will be no
if the components are same, and though both components are same, and you are saying that the gravity is also same, vertically and horizontally.
Yes, thank you, sir. So the motion will continue forever.
Yeah, it will continue forever.
Sir, does it happen ever in real life?
No, I haven't came across anything like that. Since I haven't seen even such a situation over there. Yeah, Karthik, we can try, even like by calculation, we can try once if it is possible by taking a random angle. Yeah, Dhruv.
Yes, sir. I have doubt in 1D motion.
Tell me.
Sir, let's say we are at the top of the tower and we throw a very massive object upwards.
Okay.
So, sir, when it reaches the ground, the final velocity will be 0.
No.
No, but
when it reaches the ground, due to the resistance of the ground, the velocity with which it hits the ground, that becomes 0. So there is some resisting force, which is V minus U by T. So there will be some reaction time taken by the ground to make that velocity 0.
Okay. So
when it hits the ground.
So it's related to momentum change, or
change in momentum, or else you can say it is your conservation of energy. So your kinetic energy is getting converted to potential energy. Either it will create a depression over there, or it will create some sound. Means one form of energy getting converted to some another forms of energy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, Ryan, since the motion equations are not at all involving your mass, there is no air resistance involved. So like heavier objects or lighter objects will take same time to reach the ground, because in all the equations we don't use mass anywhere to relate. That's the mathematical proof. In reality, it is because like we have air resistance present. So then I will just move to the next section of it. If the projectile part is almost clear to each and everyone. So now we need to just define certain formulas. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, but in air resistance, the mass is involved, sir.
Air
And the
resistance?
friction, sir, but the friction is dependent on mass also.
Yeah, so that only I said. He was like asking na, that heavier objects and lighter objects. So that only I said when air resistance will be there, only then that cases will be possible. Because in
Okay.
vacuum it is not possible. Vacuum, so like you can put heavier or lighter both, it will take the same time.
Yes, sir.
But if there is an air resistance or some atmosphere present, obviously the heavier will reach first and the lighter will reach later.
Okay.
Yeah. That all are the buoyant effects, you can say, upthrust applied by the air. Okay, so chalo, now there are certain formulas to derive. Now the first one, suppose I'm just taking horizontal surface again and the two axes and the throw, which is going to be your projectile throw. I want to define something called as horizontal range. When I say horizontal range in projectile, the term horizontal range is defined whenever an object is going to be released from a certain point. Obviously, it will cover some vertical motion, it will cover some height, and then it is going to come back on the ground after a few distance. So if I talk about the vertical movement, so now that vertical movement, can I say the displacement will be 0? Just check out the blue lines over here, arrows. It moved up to reach certain height and then it came back on the ground. So from this point to this point, the vertical displacement was 0. But yes, some horizontal distance was covered, and that horizontal distance is called as your range. So whenever a ground projectile has a complete projectile motion from ground to ground, so the total horizontal displacement is your range. So X is your R. So see, I have the coordinates now. X as R, Y as 0. So these coordinates should be satisfying your projectile equation. So I'll just put into the trajectory of the projectile equation, which is given as y is equal to x tan theta minus half g x square by u square cos square theta. Y as 0 and x as r, because those are the coordinates, what I will get. So if I substitute in this case, then negative term can be shifted on the left hand side, sorry, that will be equal to r tan theta. One r can get cancelled. Your 2 u square cos square theta. Now these three terms will go on the numerator, will get multiplied by tan theta, and the g value that will go in the denominator. So the actual conversion will be in this form: r is equal to 2 u square cos square theta tan theta by g. Now after that, we know that your tan theta is also written as your sine by cos, sine theta by cos theta. Means one cos will get cancelled with cos square when you represent tan as sine by cos, and then you can directly get the simplified form as r equals to 2 u square sine theta cos theta by g. Now if anyone is well versed with trigonometric formulae, it can still be written as your 2 sine theta cos theta. I'm just writing a because I cannot type theta over here. 2 sine theta cos theta is sine of double angle. That also you can replace, or else you keep the formula same, not a problem. So the final formula can be either 2 u square sine theta cos theta by g, or you can write it as u square sine 2 theta by g. So that is your formula for getting the horizontal range for a complete projectile. Yeah, Bhupen, tell me.
Sir, the y, sir, over here, the horizontal range, so the y is equal to 0. So the y is initial velocity.
No, x and y are the displacements.
Oh, x
The
and
graph.
y.
Yeah, x and y are the displacements.
Sir, but how come the y equation of trajectory y is equal to x tan theta minus, sir, how it has came?
That we got in the last case, no? The final equation. If you want, I'll just show you the previous screen in that case. See, at the end we got some equation. See, the blue
Okay,
one.
yeah. Oh.
The same thing I'm using it. Yeah?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan, tell me.
So the equation of trajectory is a general equation, but this one you did for the final position when it reached the ground,
So
right?
this is one of the formula for finding the range.
Okay, but the equation of trajectory is a general equation where you can find it
It's a
anywhere
general
on the
equation.
ground. Okay.
Yeah, anywhere on the curve. It can be
Okay.
anywhere on the curve. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Yeah, Parth.
Sir, here the height, there must be some capping to the height, right? Because we are assuming g is constant. So if the height is increasing, the g will change.
I didn't get your question. Again, come back. What you say?
Is this close to the ground, or there is some definite height for it?
No, it
For
is
this
close to the
project?
ground. From the ground it is released, and the ground it is coming. If you just assume that from a certain height, like suppose if you assume that you are throwing a ball, so at the same height of the throw, it will be reaching the ground at the same height of the throw. Means the other person who is going to catch, he is going to catch at the same level at what it was being thrown. Yeah, the level should be same. The ball released and ball reached.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Anand, because it has came back on the ground. So vertical displacement is 0. So I took y as 0.
Sir.
Yeah, Bhupen.
Sir, we are equating both the equation of what y and y and 0, sir.
No, we are not equating. This is one of the coordinate, na? When the ball reach at this point. So if it is your x-axis and y-axis.
But how come that value came 1/2 g that you have circled?
This one?
Yeah.
This negative term, no, on the left hand side. On the left hand side, any term if you shift on the right hand side, that will become positive. So the entire term have shifted on the left hand side.
Okay, sir.
Understood?
Yeah. Understood.
Yeah, Ryan.
So like if we use this equation, we can like assume anything, right? Like suppose it's in a vacuum, if something is a project like thrown at a 45-degree angle, so we can replace that with theta and then.
Yeah. You can just substitute the value theta. You'll get the value of how much far it is going to go.
And then 5 meters, something like that.
Now these calculations are already done in your brain when you play that catch throw ball.
Okay.
When you play that throw ball, see the already judgment is being with your hand. That with what speed you will throw and it will be catched by the other person. So see, these formulas are already being fitted in your brain.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So the first formula, if it's clear, can I move to the second one? Now, as we have a formula for your maximum range, similarly, we have a formula for your maximum height. Because when you throw, obviously, there will be something related that how much height it can attain. That depends. Jaise, when you play that throw ball, you always say, "Arey, mera ball kitna upar gaya?" Because the velocity with which you all throw, that will decide to what height it will go. So that we need to just calculate at what angle and what velocity if you throw, what will be the maximum height it will attain directly by a formula. So suppose if I want to check, so can I say the vertical displacement S will be H? I'm just relating to the vertical because height is vertical. So I'm going to take all the vertical components. Your acceleration will be minus g vertical. Your u dash will be your u sine theta, and final velocity will be 0 when it reaches the maximum height. So are these assumptions clear? I'm just using the basic kinematics for vertical motion. So to get this maximum displacement h, for the maximum height, the final velocity is always 0 vertically. Initially, it was thrown at an angle of u sine theta value. So if I just use the third motion equations and try to simplify, I can get some relation as h is equal to u square sine square by 2g. See the substitution. V was 0, u dash was u sine theta, a was g, s was h from the formula. Now there is one more method to do. As if I think so, Soham just gave the another method that you can directly also put your x value as r by 2 and your y value as h in your trajectory equation, and then try to simplify. R also you know, and h you will get the value of h directly. So this two coordinates also you can substitute because these are the coordinates. If x and y also, if I directly substitute, you can get the answer. So this is one way to get, this is another way to get. Both the ways you can try. Yeah, Shankar, tell me.
Sir, but why will it be equal to r by 2?
Yeah, because it is half a projectile. Na? It's symmetric about the maximum height.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, Ryan.
So that's why if we throw something vertically upwards, it will reach the maximum height at particular speed, because then theta will be 90 degrees like that, right?
Yes. In the same formula you can substitute and you will get the vertical projectile answers also from that.
Because sine theta's maximum value will be
90.
1.
Yeah,
1.
that becomes 1. So u square by 2g, which we derived for vertical motion.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Bye. So I hope the second equation clear. So any method you can apply, not a problem. Coordinate system or that. And the third formula to derive is something called as time of flight. So the time of flight is nothing but your total time it takes to complete the projectile, nothing but from one point to another point. So now in this case also, I can take the vertical displacement will be 0. If I talk about the vertical motion, the acceleration will be minus g, u dash will be u sine theta, and time will be capital T, the time of flight, because it started from ground and it came back on the ground. And if I use the second motion equation, s is equal to ut plus half at square, and if I substitute these values, see directly I will get the answer of time of flight as t is equal to 2u sine theta by g. Here also you have two methods. One method, you can use your second motion equation for vertical case, or else you can use a direct formula that your displacement is equal to speed into time. So if I talk about the horizontal case, for horizontal case the displacement was r range, the total distance covered. Your time taken is time of flight, and your speed is nothing but horizontally u cos theta. I'm taking u cos here. So here also if I substitute your range formula, I will get the value of time of flight. Because horizontal, that was a uniform motion. I can use the formula displacement is equal to speed into time. So either you can use for vertical case and get the value of time of flight, or you can use the horizontal uniform motion case formula to get your value of time of flight. So see, there are various ways to get the formulas, not a fixed method. But these formulas directly you can use in the questions. So one formula I have in form of coordinate as x and y, in which you can find the position of the point anywhere on the graph. If x is given, you can get the corresponding height. If height is given, you can get the corresponding horizontal displacement. That was the equation of trajectory called as y equal to x tan theta minus half g x square by u square cos square theta. And The remaining, like for total range, maximum range, it will reach, that will be 2u square sin theta by cos theta g. If it is maximum height, it is u square sin square by 2g. And if it is total time, time of flight, it is 2u sin theta by g. Now in time of flight also we define two terms called as time of ascent and time of descent. So that also you can just remember, time of ascent nothing but time to go up. And one word is called as time of descent. Time of descent means time taken to come down. And you know that ascent and descent, the time taken will be same. So the value for time of ascent and time of descent is nothing but half of total time. Nothing but it is u sin theta by g. Ascent is u sin theta by g, descent is also u sin theta by g. So that total time becomes 2u sin theta by g. So you can use those terms also. Yes, Shravan? Yes, Shravan, you want to ask something? Okay. Yes, Shravan, tell me.
Sir, so for attaining maximum range, we
Yeah.
have to throw the maximum horizontal range. We have to throw the ball at different angles.
At only one angle.
I mean that for horizontal range, for attaining maximum height and for attaining maximum time of flight, we have to throw the ball at different angles.
Different angles, yeah. But to obtain the maximum range, the
Yes.
only maximum range is possible when you throw a ball at an angle of 45 degrees.
Sir, but similarly for maximum height and time of flight, the maximum value is sine 90, no sir.
For
maximum height and time of flight, the maximum value we can obtain by putting theta as 90, no sir.
Yeah, so that time you will get maximum height because it is going to be a vertical projectile directly.
Sir, so my doubt is that why the for maximum height and for maximum time of flight, by throwing the ball at 90 degree, for at the same angle we are getting both.
Same angle we are getting both. I didn't get your question. Like you are saying, whenever it is a angle projected at an angle of 90 degree, you will get the maximum value of height, and the time it takes to go up and come down, that will also be the maximum value.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
I'm asking the reason for it.
But that will not become your oblique projectile, no? Achha, you are relating the formulas, that the formulas will be same.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
formula is not same. Where the formula is same? Formula is not same. One is u square by 2g and another is 2u by g.
Sir, but I'm not saying that formula is same, sir, but for attaining maximum height, the angle must be 90, sir. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Maximum height also angle will be 90. Maximum time also angle will be 90. But for maximum range, the angle will be 45.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. The cases will be in that. Okay, so any other doubt? Yeah, Namanya. Time of ascent or descent is nothing but half of that. Yeah, Dhruv, tell me.
Yes, sir. Why can't we find distance of the trajectory?
Equation of that, how will you get the length of that path?
Yes, sir. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, that is not possible to calculate the length of the path.
Okay.
Like suppose even if I have a sine graph, okay, any quadratic equation, anything, we cannot calculate the length of the graph. What we can calculate is the displacement for those cases.
Yes. Okay, sir.
Right? Because they are not the straight lines. The only problem is that. So there is no symmetry which is being involved so that we could measure directly using the scale values.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, Ryan.
So we could calculate, right? If this value is like, if we take a straight line and we like take it to the like, wait a minute. So can I just
Like?
Wait, I just requested the permission.
Acha, you want to show something on the screen?
Yeah, like maybe if that's
Acha, okay, tell me.
okay, it started.
Yeah.
So if something like this, like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
how do I draw on this?
Acha, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Just wait a minute. You don't do anything.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything.
Wait. I will just. You'll get that red one
Yeah.
symbol now on that annotation. You'll get. Yeah. Tell me now. You able to draw?
No, sir. Like, sir, if you put a line on the top of the graph, like where the graph meets, yeah, over there.
Wait. I will just put. Okay.
Like
यहाँ पे.
X is equal to, yeah, something
Like
that.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. Then.
Y-axis, to the y-axis.
Okay. Means you are saying a straight line to the y-axis. Okay.
Yeah,
Like this.
and then to the right side also.
Okay.
And then
So I'm just forming a rectangle over.
rectangle, yeah.
Then.
And then can't I take out the area of the leftover parts? Like if I assume this like a
No, we can get the region. How will get the leftover part area? How can we get? This is not a straight line. It's a curve.
yeah. So if we can assume that as a part of a 1/4 part of a circle, like circumference, like that.
No, it won't be a perfect circular part.
Okay, it won't be a perfect circular part.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Surya, we can use the calculus to find either the area under the graph or either the slope at any point. You can get the area, Surya. Okay, so we have done this much. In the next class, we'll just do few more formulas and cases based on that and some numericals based on it. So those who don't have any doubt, they can just leave the meeting. Thank you so much. Those who still want to ask something, they can just wait. Rest of you can just leave the meeting and they can just rest till the next lecture. Displacement. S is always the displacement, Vedant. Yeah, and then to calculate the area, we use the integration. Yeah, Anand, tell me. Sorry, not Mayuresh. Mayuresh, tell me.
So the path covered by that object, will it be a part of an eclipse?
No. So in that we cannot assume because the equation is not an ellipse. The equation is a parabola. Ellipse has an equation as x square by y square plus y square by b square. Like x and y both are in quadratic form.
Okay, so we can't calculate the path traveled by the object.
Yeah, hence it is like we cannot even assume it as a circular path, like sum of the part of a circle, not even a part of an ellipse, because this is itself a parabola. Yeah. Yeah, Piyush, because I am just assuming the vertical conditions, because time of flight is going to be same vertically also and horizontally also. So any one case you have to use to solve. So I just use the vertical conditions. In that case, when it is thrown vertically, the initial velocity was u sine theta. Yeah, Piyush, you understood it? Why use u sine theta? I'm taking the vertical cases. Okay. Yeah, and we won't be learning separately in integration, but in maths, if you might be learning calculus, there you might get an aware of it. Here currently we don't need a requirement, but when you study a chapter of work power energy, that we might come across integration. And even in chapters of electricity and magnetism. Yeah, Arjun, tell me.
Hello, sir. Sir, in the horizontal range, we are basically finding the displacement, no?
Horizontal displacement.
Horizontal displacement, okay. And maximum, okay, maximum. Okay.
Maximum height is vertical displacement.
Yes, sir. By the sir, you told in the second maximum height we can do it by coordinate method. So how?
Yeah, that time x will be r by 2, y will be h.
Okay.
Because this point. This point is what? Horizontal distance will be r by 2 and vertical will be h. So x and y you can substitute in your trajectory equation.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, welcome.
And sir, can you send the Zoom meeting recording of 22nd May Friday in the doubt group?
22nd May. Okay, fine. I'm just sharing. For Friday you require.
Yes, sir. I had a class that day because.
Okay, fine, chalo. I will just share in the group.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, well. Yeah, Ryan, tell me.
Yeah, sir, that's what I wanted to ask, that Friday's Zoom meeting, like, can you share that please on the group?
Okay, fine. I'll just share on
So,
the.
sir, you did
Loudspeaker.
integration that day?
No, we didn't do integration. We just did
Okay.
differentiation part.
Okay, so we will have integration?
No, currently not. But when we will do certain chapters, that time if the fundamentals are required, that time I will explain the basics of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Welcome. Yeah, same to you. Yeah, Dhruv, tell me.
Yes, sir. Can you again explain why the final velocity of a heavy object upon reaching the ground will not be 0? I forgot.
See, when it reaches the ground, it will have certain velocity because it is accelerating.
Yes.
Right? If it's accelerating, the velocity is increasing. So obviously, from a certain height, initial velocity is 0. If it is accelerating, the velocity will obviously start increasing. But when it reaches the ground, when it touches the ground, that time the ground is going to provide the resisting force. Okay, because it is going to hit it. Now the resisting force will try to reduce the momentum to 0.
Yes.
Of the ball. Now to reduce this momentum to 0, it will take some reaction time.
Yes.
Okay, when it hits. So this reaction time along with your change in momentum will be calculated by your resisting force, which will be provided by the ground, which will make the velocity of the ball as 0.
Yes. So, sir.
So it is the ground which is going to do.
Yes. So, sir, can we take T as normal T plus TR, like reaction time?
Yeah. No, that is different and this is different because here the acceleration will also be different.
Achha,
For making that final velocity, there will be a different resisting force acting, and that resisting force will have its own acceleration. No, that is mass dependent. So it depends upon that, what acceleration is going to provide. Simple example, see when you catch a ball, right?
Yes.
When you catch a ball, what happens? Suppose if your hand is not able to provide that much resisting force, if your hand is not going to provide that much acceleration, that much retardation for the ball to reduce to 0, your hand gets hurted.
Yes.
Obviously, but if your hands are strong enough to catch, what happens? Means the resisting force by the skin is strong enough to provide that retardation force so that the velocity of the ball becomes 0.
0. So,
So
sir,
it depends upon the surface.
Yes, sir. So we are taking a hard ground or a iron ground.
Yeah.
And then we are dropping a 1000
heavy object.
kg object. So then the final velocity should be 0.
Again, it depends. Now it will reach with a certain velocity, but what final velocity you are taking now, that is for a fractional time. It will take some time to reduce to 0, and that reaction time is by the surface on which it is hit.
Okay.
Okay, because the
so
surface
sir, in
is going
that
to
case,
decide.
So sir, in that case, we in the equation of motion, we can take T as T plus TR.
No. It is simply T only. The second part
And
of
V0.
reaction time, that is different. No, that is different. There are two frames. One frame is when it reaches the ground, and one frame is when the velocity is becoming 0 due to the ground.
Okay.
So one is movement in air, one is when it touching the ground. So there are two different things. So you cannot combine both the things and apply the same formula.
Okay.
Okay, so one is movement through air, where you are applied your kinematical equations. But when it is touching the ground, that time the reaction is nothing but your basic rate of change of momentum. There is no kinematics we are applying. There is just rate of change of momentum.
Okay, yes, got it.
Understood?
Yes.
And since that happens for a very shorter period of time, now you feel that the velocity has become 0. Because that is just for a very short period of time.
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.